Hello everyone, how's everyone today? Welcome to the Dirt Road Farmer. Well, today we're going to harvest this smaller field of sorghum and try to get it replanted. I don't know that I have ever harvested sorghum before. Maybe one time on Elm Creek. I'm not sure. But anyway, this field is in very poor shape. It's got 0% fertilizer and something like 38% yield bonus. So I'm not looking for much of a yield. I just more or less want to get the crop out of the field and get the field worked and replanted. So anyway, I hope everybody is doing well, doing great. Man, we're coming up on the middle of January here real soon. Here in a couple of days, we'll be halfway through January. Man, we always did say, our family was always a saying that once we get New Year's over with, we're on the countdown to spring. And I guess that's right. You got some awful cold weather and snow in our part of the country before that happens, though. But anyway, we're gonna harvest this field and get the grain hauled in, and then we'll start working the field and getting it to where it is ready to replant. So we'll see you then. Well, with this field, it's not a very big field. I'm going to guesstimate maybe 25 acres. It's certainly not going to take any time at all to get through it. As you know, on this map, these harvesters are harvesting at 11 miles an hour. So it's not going to take that long, and we'll be through this field. And then we've got corn that needs to be harvested when we get done with this field and get it replanted. We've got corn that needs to be harvested, and sunflowers. So anyway, it's a never-ending process. It just keeps going on and on and on. So anyway, we're going to continue to harvest this field, and in no time at all we'll be across it. All right, we are flat getting across this field. Of course, like I said before, it's a pretty small field in respects to this map. And the cornfield that we have to harvest is just about the same size. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to them. I don't know what kind of shape the cornfield is in, but this field, I know it's just not in very good shape at all. But as soon as we get this grain off of here, we'll prepare it the right way and get it planted, and our yield will be a whole lot better. So but it won't take us long, and we'll be through it. Yeah, we're just almost done with it right now. So anyway, we're going to finish up harvesting, and then the first order of business is to get a mulcher in here and get it mulched down. So we'll see when we get just a little farther along. All right, well, we got this field done, harvested, and we'll take this harvester back to the field and or back to the farm, I'm sorry, and we'll get our mulcher out here. Now, why don't we stop and get out and look at the field, see what kind of shape the field is in. All right, now you'll see that the fertilized state is 0. And you're going to say to me, what about the chopped straw? Look at the field. And again, like I said, this is the first time that I have harvested sorghum, but it looks to me like all it did was took the head off and left the straw standing in the field instead of cutting it off down by the ground. So that would explain, yeah, I guess that would explain, why we don't have 50% fertilizer, because the straw was left standing. So we'll get it mulched, and I do not think that mulcher is going to do anything in regards to the fertilizer state, because that mod works with the harvester, and if the harvester doesn't take the straw part down, then you don't get the fertilizer. Now that's the way I understand it, and that's kind of what I've experienced in the past, but we'll see. We'll get this harvester back to the field, or back to the farm. We probably need to wash it a little bit because it's pretty nasty, and we'll get the mulcher out here, and we'll probably mulch that by hand. We'll do it ourselves with GPS, and then we'll put the first stage of fertilizer down and go from there. I'll see you when we get the mulcher out there. All right, well, we're going to get this field mulched. It won't take long. And I haven't jumped out to see what kind of difference this is making as to the fertilizer on the field, but it really doesn't matter because we have to mulch anyway. It's not like we're going to change it. This is just one of the things with FS22 that they've added, and we have to do it. So, you know, and I should correct myself there and say, I shouldn't say we have to do it. No, we don't. We don't have to do it. But the dock that we would take on the yield, we don't want that. We don't want that kind of a dock. We are out here to make money, not lose money and just play around. We're out here to make money. So now when it comes to the rolling, that just is not cost effective. You do the math on that, at 2%, you would be a long time just paying off the roller to do it. And and then paying for the diesel fuel, paying for labor, wear and tear, the maintenance on everything. That 2% just don't add up. So that's why we don't roll them. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue getting this field mulched. Whenever I'm done, then we'll jump out and we'll look at the field. One thing I did notice is that it does not need lime. That's a good thing. That'll save us some money this round. So it's just the 2 stages of fertilizer. One we'll have to put on here, and the other one we'll get whenever we plant. So anyway, I'll see you when we get a little farther along. All right, we are flat getting across this field. When we get this field done, we'll jump out and we're going to look, but don't get your hopes up. I think that chopped straw mod is strictly for the harvesters. I'm almost 100% certain. And so with that being said, and it won't take us long to put a layer of fertilizer down. That spreader spreads very, very wide, and it'll cover this field in about 4 or 5 passes. So yeah, it won't take long at all. He'll have that done, and then we'll get our planter in here and we'll get it planted. Now I've got to decide what we're going to plant in here. I don't know. I'll have to give that some thought. But I'll see you whenever we get ready to get onto the field. All right, we're going to step out here on the field real quick. And that's just what I kind of expected. Even though we mulched the straw down, that chopped straw does not work with the mulcher at all. You get the fertilizer state out of the harvester, and in this particular case, as we had seen, the harvester just took off the heads of the sorghum and left the straw standing. So yeah, we kind of got cheated out of the fertilizer state, but that's okay. We'll get it fertilized and then we'll get it planted. Now I think we'll plant this, I don't know, maybe in soybeans, I guess. Soybeans pays very, very well, and that's why I plant so many of them. So we'll plant it in soybeans, therefore we will not have to cultivate it. before we plant, because our seeder that's going to plant the soybeans, it cultivates as it plants. Plus, it also puts the second stage of fertilizer down. So, I'll see you when we get in the field with the fertilizer spreader. All right, it won't take long at all to get this field fertilized. As you can see, he takes quite a swipe whenever he goes through the field. So, even though he takes quite a swipe, I mean, we don't get a reduction in the cost of the fertilizer. We're still having to pay for that. But yeah, he is doing a job on this fertilization. So anyway, he'll have the first stage down, and we'll let him make a couple of swipes, and we'll get the planter right in here behind him, the seeder, and we'll start planting some soybeans. So we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we've got our planter over here. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we have that first 50%, and we do. Okay, now jump back in the tractor, and we'll do a test plot, and then we'll jump out and see what we did. So I'm fairly certain that we will have 100%, or we should have 100% fertilizer, and we should be at 98%. But we'll soon find out. And it says our yield bonus is 75%. And why will that be? Why? And the fertilizer is at 50%. Now maybe you can tell me why that is. Did they make an upgrade? Did they make a change on this? This is our old planter. This is the one that does it for us. Now this is not making any sense. They are going to make us cultivate this field. Sure as I am standing here, they're going to make us cultivate this field. All right. Well, let's fold this up, and this is a direct drill planter, and it applies the seed, it cultivates, it applies the seed and fertilizer. And I thought something was awful strange when we planted that cotton field. They're going to make us cultivate this field prior to the planter doing it. So anyway, I'm going to go get a couple of cultivators, and we'll start cultivating and find out what happens. All right, well, I think I may see a pattern here on the way we have to do things. You remember, if you've seen my last video, well, the last video probably hasn't been processed yet into YouTube. But anyway, in my last video, we were trying to plant cotton, and something similar to this happened. With cotton, you know, it picks the cotton and it leaves the stubble standing in the field. Just like in this field, it took the head off, but it left the stubble. So you have to go in and mulch it. Well, I wanted to replant cotton, so I bought a couple of brand new planters, and it didn't appear that they were working right. So I bought a different kind of planter, and they made us, it wouldn't work right. So they made us go in and do what we're doing here. We had to cultivate the field. So, you know, I mean, I know it looks like I'm a rookie and I'm new at this. I assure you, I have a minimum of 5,000 hours in the Farming Simulator. Yes, I have planted many fields. So I know the process. However, this is FS22. I know FS19 like the back of my hand. But I am still learning FS22. And it appears that on the fields where you get the chopped straw benefit, it appears that on those fields they're not going to require you to cultivate before you plant. Now, okay, I mean, I don't understand that, because the planter is a direct drill. It cultivates before it puts the seed in the ground, just like we're doing right now. It cultivates before it puts the seed in the ground and the fertilizer. So I'm not quite understanding their theory behind it. I understand what they're doing, and that is the rules of the simulator game, and we'll do it. It just seems to me an extra step here that isn't necessary. But we'll get back with you when we get a little farther along, and we'll get these fields cultivated. We'll start that planter over there, and I'm quite sure that, you know, it'll be the way we want it then. All right, well, I think these guys are far enough ahead. We're going to run a test here again. The reason that soil is dark right there is that's where we run the previous test. So now we're going to stop right here, and we'll get out and go back and check, but I will bet you that we'll be where we want to be now. Looky there, 98% yield bonus, 100% fertilized. Yeah, I'm just beside myself, and I guess it's just the rules of the game. Okay. You know, I'm about obeying the rules of the game. It's just different, and it's extra steps. And what I had thought in the beginning of the talk about FS22 is it was supposed to be more realism. Well, okay, I'm all about that. But when you have a planter that is a direct drill, it does not require you to go through and cultivate the field first. It just don't do it. Now a lot of people will go in and they've got like a power harrow, or it's a real thin minimal depth, and what they do is they'll go in and they just scrape the surface just a little bit to give the seed a place to get down to. But this planter is supposed to be doing that for us. And so, I'm just not understanding. But anyway, I'm not going to keep going on about it. We can talk all day, and that's not going to change anything. We still have to adhere to the rules of the game, and that's the way FS22, that's the way Giants wanted it done. So it's still farming. We're still producing content, and we just got a couple of extra steps that we got to do. So anyway, we've got this guy started off planting. The other guys over there are almost done cultivating. So I think the one guy is done with his section. So I think we'll go get him and have him help the other guy out. And then we can get them out of the field. So anyway, I'll get back with you in a little bit. All right. Well, I've got this other cultivator over here helping the other one out on this section. We've got our planter over there planting. So I think we'll call this a video. If you've liked this content, please go down there and give me a like, give me a thumbs up. I would sure appreciate it. If you want to follow me and see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. Every time I post a new video, you'll get a notification. If you know someone that would enjoy seeing these types of videos, please share this. Please share the video. I appreciate it. But until tomorrow, this is a Dirt Road Farmer, and thank you for watching.